Welcome back, everyone. Today we are going to work on solve for one of many variables. That I9 is rearrange multivariable equations. All that means is you get the letter by itself on the left. You can have a whole bunch of letters, but you just want one letter by itself on the left. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Let's get rid of this. Okay, when you're solving for one of many variables, what I need you to do is I need you to remember three things. First thing I need you to remember is that letters stand for numbers. We learned that variables can be used one of two ways. They can be used as a fill in the blank. X plus 2 equals 5. Well, the x has to be 3. That's the only thing that will work. The other thing that we learned for variables is that they can show relationships between values. So x plus x is going to be 2x regardless of what x is. If x is 7, 7 plus 7 is the same thing as 2 times 7. But you just need to remember that letters do stand in for numbers. The next thing that I need you to understand when we're solving is that what we're going to do is we're going to isolate the variable. That means get the letter by itself on the left side of the equal sign. Get the letter by itself on the left side of the equal. And then how do we do that? We're going to do reverse GEMDAS, which means first we're going to undo addition and subtraction. Then we're going to undo multiplication and division. Usually we actually end up undoing division first because they're typically fractions and we want to get the fractions out of there. So let's go ahead and get started. The example that we're going to use, it says solve for b. What does solve for b mean? It means isolate the variable, isolate the b. So the example is this. A is equal to b plus c, and I need to get the b by itself. Well, in order to do that, I have to get rid of the c. Well, that says plus c. How do I get rid of plus c? I subtract c. Why? Because c minus c is 0. But if I take c away from one side, I have to take c away from the other side. So how do you write a minus c? Well, you can only write it as a minus c. That's the only way you can write it. And then the b is by itself over here because the c went away. So a minus c does equal b, but I want the b on the left side. So all I have to do is spin the whole thing around, put the b here, and the a minus c over here on the other side. Now, this is in alphabetical order, which is the way I would like it, but you could also write it like this if you wanted to. You could put the negative c in front of the positive a, negative c plus a. They both mean the same thing. Either way, I have the b by itself. So that's how we solve for b. We got b by itself on the left side. Either one of these will work. This one's probably better because it's in alphabetical order. All right, let's look at another example. On this one, we're solving for c. We want to get c by itself. We want to get the c by itself. Okay. Well, back over here, you see that we took c away from both sides. We undid the addition with the subtraction. But I've told you in the past, there's actually a faster way to do this. When you're moving terms, anytime you take a term, that plus c, you move it across the equation, it just changes sign. That becomes a minus c. That's just a shortcut where you don't really have to mess with all of this stuff in blue right here. I could turn this a into a negative a. I could turn the b into a negative b. I can turn the c into a negative c. If it stays on the same side, it keeps its sign. It's a plus b here. It's a plus b here. It's a plus c here. It's still a plus c right here. Okay, so let's just use the shortcut and do it that way. This negative c is going to turn into a positive c anyway. So I'm going to move it all the way over here. So when I move that negative c over here, it becomes a positive c. I want the a to go over here, so it crosses the equation, so it becomes a negative a. This is still a positive b. It didn't go anywhere. So there's the answer. C is equal to negative a plus b. All I did was add c to both sides and then take a away from both sides. But the quick way of doing that, the easy way, was just moving the term and changing the sign. All right, could I write this a different way? I sure could. I've got the c by itself on the left. So it's negative a. If I wanted to put the negative a over here, it's still negative a because I haven't gone across the sign. And this is still positive b. So either way will work. I like the first way better because it is in alphabetical order. All right, so now let's do another example.